All right, hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about how to find winning products and gaps in the market. So next here. So just to introduce everyone in this session today, so have VP of SEO, Casey Gauss from Thrasio. My name's Artur Rivelis. I'm VP of Engineering at Deliverr. And we also have Chad Rubin from Think Crucial. All right. So, today sort of what we're talking about is what are the sort of exciting market trends in 2020. COVID has had an interesting impact on, what's selling well, versus what was selling well before. And so one of the interesting things, because you have all of these, school-age kids that are at home and, are now, doing some homeschooling and digital learning. There's some certain category trends, for example, like arts, crafts, and sewing. That's made a pretty big jump this year, and has been definitely trending upwards. And so this is kind of an interesting category to watch out for as you're thinking about what type of products you want to sell. The other thing to think about outside of like what are the categories to focus on is also the selection of what type of marketplaces you want to be on. For example, when we looked at art supplies, and we looked at the different sort of, we looked at the two different marketplaces, for example, Wish and Shopify. What we saw in Wish was that art supplies has been booming. So if that's your category, then would be highly, it would be a really good idea to expand onto Wish. And for Shopify, it's been trending upwards, but you can see not as strong as what the response on Wish was. So one of the things I want to talk about today is a concept that we internally call category relativity, which is when your item does well on one marketplace, where else will it do well? And what should your next steps be? So to look over that, we looked at some of the top categories on Amazon, and the interesting thing about that is that if they're a top category on Amazon, likely you would be falling into one of these categories, because I know a lot of you do sell on Amazon, and we were looking at, well, if it's a category that does well on Amazon, what's another marketplace where this particular category does really well? So if we took at personal care, this would be skincare or oral care, those type of products. It's relatively does better than health on Amazon. And if you were looking for another place to sell it, you could consider Walmart and eBay. And the breakaway the breakaway marketplace that we've identified for personal care has really been eBay and Shopify. Shopify is an interesting one because for Shopify, we're looking at, you would have to be hosting your own store and, running ads and pushing traffic to that store. But it's been highly lucrative for, sellers within our marketplace based on our analysis. You could see there's some gaps for Wish. Like, for example, we don't really have a ranking for Wish. And part of it is that, Wish is a new channel for us, and they overall don't have as many categories and don't have as rich of data. So we're still collecting this information and be able to surface it up. If we look at the health category, Walmart's definitely is a breakaway winner. So if that's a category that you're selling in, then you should definitely be looking at Walmart as a channel to expand into. Interestingly enough, for patio and garden, so if you're looking for what's a product that's going to do really well on Wish, and moderately well on Walmart. The patio and garden category is currently trending very well. And you could imagine this is also kind of based on sort of this sort of seasonal impact, kind of the environment that we're in, where people are making larger investments in their homes. No insights for batteries, but household essentials does really well on eBay. All right. So moving on to the next slide here. So the next question is, well, we have really rich data around Walmart and what performs really well on Walmart. So looking a little bit deeper into the subcategories here, we looked at the top level categories, and here we look at the subcategories. Under that sort of health category that does really, really well on Walmart, the interesting subcategory that we identified was keto. So this could be, keto diet pills. This could be, keto foods, supplements, food items, things of that nature. So things that fall into keto are currently very, very popular on Walmart. So as you're thinking about what are other, maybe categories of this might be something that you're already selling but not on Walmart, that would be a good opportunity. Or it might not be a category that you've thought of at all, but you are able to obtain these type of products and try them out. This is one that would perform really well within Walmart. And as we looked at the top level categories, I think it's interesting to narrow that down into sort of these finer grained subcategory movements. And there's really some interesting insights if we go a little bit deeper. And so again, here, what we found is, let me look at some of the questions here and I'll try to address these. So one of the things that we found is that for oral care, so oral care does better than skincare on Amazon. And for eBay, we're looking at that being also a really strong category. For skincare, Shopify has performed really, really well. Of course, you're talking about healthcare as a sort of larger category. In this case, a subcategory of vitamins and supplements. Walmart is a strong contender. There for that category. Then we look at the bath and body. Kitchen and dining is a really popular category for Wish. And bath and body for Shopify. This just gives you some, ideas of how you can diversify across marketplaces that we found to be really hot opportunities right now. All right. Cool. So now we're going to shift gears and I'll give it over to Casey and he will talk about product sourcing techniques.
Hey everyone. Just a quick background on myself. My name is Casey. Almost 6 years ago, I started a software company in the space called Viral Launch. And over the 6 years or so that I was there, we helped tens of thousands of Amazon sellers drive more than $12 billion in sales on Amazon. We helped in every way from product research to keyword research, keyword tracking, kind of monitoring your Amazon business, PPC management, and PPC automation software, and driving keyword ranking. I now work at a company called Thrasio. We just completed a $260 million round of funding at a $1 billion valuation. And essentially, the company just buys Amazon businesses and then is a best-in-class Amazon operator, essentially. So I'm currently there. And so this is kind of where I'm coming to you from with these product sourcing techniques. We help tens of thousands of people at Viral Launch in their product sourcing, and have seen lots of successes and lots of failures. And so my hope is that I can help you join the success side and avoid the failures that come with product sourcing. Just to kick things off, to make things fun, if you could post in the chat, so what is the product on Amazon that's currently live that has the most ratings? So a single product, how many reviews or ratings do you think it has? If you don't mind posting in the chat. There might be a little bit of a delay, but I'd love to see what you guys think. Is it A, B, C, or D? Under 50,000, under 100,000, or over 200? C, D. Thanks, guys. C, D. Pretty split between C and D. There's B. Ooh, here they go. Okay, yeah, there's just a little bit of a delay, so I'll let you post your answers. Looks like it's pretty tied between C and D. Seeing more B's in there. Adonis, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Can't answer the polls. All right, so thank you, everyone. I think maybe D won, and the answer is D. So the SanDisk micro SD card, 219,000 ratings. Pretty impressive. There are products that have more ratings but are not currently active. Last I saw, there was like some Chuck Taylors that had like 300,000 reviews, but it's no longer an active listing. So pretty incredible to see how many ratings. I would not want to compete against these guys for so many reasons, including trying to catch up to them in review quantity. Okay, next question: which keyword has a greater barrier to entry? So when we look at a product market, we look not only at like what is the opportunity for us to drive volume to sell, like, you know, are they making $1,000, $10,000? Are products in this market selling $100,000 a month? So that's great, but that's only one part of the equation. We also want to understand how difficult is it going to be for me to enter this market and perform well. So yeah, if you don't mind posting in the chat, we'll make this one shorter. But which keyword has a greater barrier to entry? Is it the sheets keyword, where there's 70,000 searches a month? Is it speakers, Bluetooth wireless with 211,000 searches a month? iPhone screen protector, 5,000 searches a month. Charger, 43,000 searches a month. What do you guys think? Bluetooth speaker. Bunch of Bluetooth speakers right off the bat. You'll notice that 3 of these are in the kind of electronics category, which is just very, very difficult category. A couple iPhone people in here. Okay, cool. We'll just jump ahead so I don't take up too much time. The answer is iPhone screen protector. There's 22,000 review. The average review quantity for page 1 of the keyword iPhone screen protector is almost 23,000. If you go search this keyword and see the products ranking for this term, the average review quantity is 23,000. That's a pretty significant barrier to entry. And these other markets are significant as well. I mean, the average product for sheets has 17,000 reviews. So using mean, not median, which may have changed this a little bit, but the point is these are very competitive markets, and which kind of brings me to the 2 key components of successful product research. Number 1 is to start with the end in mind, and I'll talk more about this. But what I mean by starting with the end in mind is you probably have a goal, or hopefully you have a goal. You should have a goal, and that goal is for you to make X number of dollars a month, or to launch X Y number of products. So you have some goal in mind, and that goal will dictate the path that you take in your product research. So actually, sorry, just stepping back real quick. So I'll talk kind of 2 ways to product research. 1, there are people thinking about joining the Amazon space or launching new products on the Amazon space. And then secondly, there are people that have their product catalog. Maybe you're selling on your own website or retail, what have you, and you're looking to now join the Amazon space. So I'll be talking to product research for both of those scenarios. I mean, there's multiple scenarios layered in there, but So starting with the end in mind is just very important. Whatever your goal is, if you want to hit some revenue threshold, if you want to launch a new product and hit a revenue threshold, you have to know where you want to go so that you can properly chart the path to get there. That is by far one of the most important components here. You have to understand, if I want to sell $50,000 a month of this, widget, or $100,000 a month of this widget, well, you need to understand what is the marketing budget going to be for that. What keywords am I going to rank for? How am I actually going to get sales? And you need to understand this to, understanding this will have a heavy influence in either the products you select or your kind of go-to-market plan on Amazon. And then number 2 is follow the data. So the reason I did the, kind of silly survey at the beginning or trying to have fun is it's just so important to follow the data. And I wanted to show you, you really need to be paying attention to kind of every aspect of a market that you're looking to enter. And I'll talk more to that here. So again, kind of starting with the end in mind, you need to understand your SEO strategy. You need to understand the cost. What should your budget be? Because you can, you may have expectations of, I want to do X in the first 30 days. Well, you really better understand your strategy and have that coming. You better have that in mind when you come to the market. I've seen so many people come to Amazon. They launch their product, they put it up on Amazon because so many people are shopping on Amazon, and they do no volume. And then they start panicking and saying, oh shoot, this is harder than I thought. And they realize, well, they didn't have the budget prepared for this. They didn't have the team or the resources prepared to give their products what they needed. You need to know every step along the way before you even, if you're launching a new product, source that product, or if you're bringing new products to the Amazon market, you need to understand the whole game plan before you even start. Just a couple of kind of examples here is there's just so many competitors on Amazon. So just listing your product, just having a great product, having a great product at a great price point, just it doesn't work. The thing that Amazon, one reason Amazon is so great is they've changed this limited shelf space. You go to Walmart and you look at iPhone chargers. There's like just a handful of brands. You look at I don't know, laundry detergents, you look at oximeters, there's only a handful of brands. But on Amazon, the brands are kind of unlimited. Our number of product opportunities or product selection opportunities for customers is so vast. And so if you look at iPhone charger, you may have a great iPhone charger, but there's 30,000 of them, right? These oximeters, there's 2,000 different oximeters, and they all look pretty much the same. You need to understand how you're going to drive those results. Follow the data. So there's so much data available on Amazon. I was just talking with some very smart people with a lot of money, basically looking to make a big Amazon play. And they were kind of just spouting off ideas like, yeah, I searched on Amazon and there wasn't any funny baby gifts. Like, that seems like an opportunity for me, right? And it's like, well, shoot, let's go look at the data and we'll be able to see, here's how many people are searching that keyword. Here's who's selling, like which products are actually selling well, how much are they actually making, and so forth. And you can get a very clear picture as to what the opportunity is and a pretty clear picture as to what the cost and timeline is going to be in order for you to really start having success in that product market. So through this, like if you take one thing away, 2 things away, ideally, is that you need to follow the data and start with the end in mind. The tactics you can figure out beyond this presentation. There's a lot to discuss, but we don't have enough time for all of that. So just to share kind of a case study. So a friend of mine, he basically was looking to, he had a successful Amazon business. It was doing 7 figures a year. I think he built it up over like 3-4 years, doing pretty well. And then he was like, I really want to ratchet this up. And so he came to me, he's like, hey man, like any data that you can give me, I think there's a lot of hidden opportunities in here still. I would love to sift through this. I would love to be able to identify some of these opportunities essentially. And within just a handful of years, so he goes through like all these different categories on Amazon, just looking at the data, sifting through the data. I spent a lot of time. It's a very tedious process, it can be. and ended up finding, this opportunity for like plant supplements essentially. And he's built this over the last few years to this, brand that I'm a huge fan of. They're absolutely killing it, not only on Amazon, but just in retail. They're in thousands of retail stores. They're in Whole Foods. I mean, it's just incredible. And this all didn't come from, some random ideas he's, in the shower. This came from following the data to identify the product opportunity, and then, building out the game plan, going all in on it, and scaling it from there. Arturo, are you running the poll?
All right, so it's price time, so that you should be able to go to the polls tab, and within that tab, there will be some questions waiting for you. And yeah, you must fill in the poll in order to win this session's prize. All right. So now I will pass it on to Chad, who will talk about the importance of diversification.
Awesome, appreciate it. So just quick background on myself. I've been in e-commerce for about a decade. Started selling D2C about 10 years ago, selling vacuum parts, and then started making our own vacuum parts. So this was actually an OG website that we created. It was on Volusion. We started off with Crucial Vacuum. And if we go to the next slide, or I think I can go to the next slide actually, this is what it is today. So the genesis was solving a problem which was going direct consumer with home appliance parts and accessories. Just literally on Amazon. We were playing a little bit on eBay. We were on Volusion, and we've repurposed the brand to be more wholesome around anything you can think of that's crucial in the home. We manufacture and sell direct to consumer. But that was just like the first step. So I'm on 10 different channels. And really what we do is we have 800 products, and we're on roughly about 2,000 listings across those channels. A big driver of that is Amazon, but a big driver of that is also Walmart, Overstock, Wayfair, and by the way, we just got onto Deliverr, which is pretty awesome. So you got to diversify and explode your SKU counts and do what other people aren't doing, and that's being creative and coming up with different kits and pack sizes to make that happen. So for example, I might take a low selling item that maybe we didn't intend for it to be low selling, but it's not a great seller, and pair it with a high seller and create kits and bundles. And the way that we do that is we do that because I also started another software company called Skubana, which literally automates the bundle breakdown process for us automatically across those channels. So the idea behind diversification and going on many channels, but diversifying your product assortment, is the idea is that you can get economies of scale as you create bigger patch sizes. You're increasing your average order value, which essentially flows down to the bottom line for your profit margins. And so as we create these different kits and bundles, the cost of shipping just goes up ever so slightly, and that profit flows to the bottom line on those kits and bundles. So before we even get into diversification or even thinking about how you have 800 products across car filters and vacuum filters and coffee filters, and believe it or not, unfortunately, garlic presses. The way that we've been able to actually scale so quickly is through some sourcing techniques. Some people may know this, some people may not. But essentially, we like to reverse engineer what our competitors are doing. And a lot of that is through exposed bill of ladings that are available to you through a few different softwares. I use Panjiva. I have no tie to them at all. But the idea is that you can get all this information of what suppliers your competitors or categories that you want to invade in. You can get that pretty much with the touch of a fingertip. The next piece, though, is if you're a big complex merchant that's on this webinar today, you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, am I exposed? Well, there's a way that you can actually hide your sourcing data from Panjiva, right? And so if you want to know that information, talk about it offline, feel free to email me at chat@Skubana. I'm happy to discuss it. Now, it's only available to you if you're actually importing from China. Sometimes you can get data from India, but it's harder to get. So there's a lot of merchants out there. People have been doing this for a long time. There's a lot of softwares out there that scrape Amazon. But the idea is that if it's on Amazon or has its SKU, you can really extract that data. But there's a lot of brands that are selling D2C today that actually maybe are on Shopify, but they don't embrace Amazon. Why? Because maybe Amazon's a frenemy. Maybe they don't want to. So I'm here to drop some nuggets that people can take action on. One of them is actually if you actually take any Shopify URL and add in that additional piece of the URL, you can figure out what are the best-selling SKUs on a Shopify site. Why is that interesting? Well, again, a lot of these brands don't embrace Amazon, and it gives you ideas and ways, okay, how do I do things that are scalable and do things that other people aren't doing? And that's really where you find windows of opportunity to make more money. Because if you're using the same tools, you're using this BSR rank, or you're using all the search demand volume that's out there, everybody and their grandmother right now is doing the same thing. So I think that's one really nice nugget, is trying to find that diamond SKU on Shopify that you may want to actually add to your own site, but also maybe leverage across multiple marketplaces. Another really insightful thing that I wanted to share with everybody joining today is a software called Ahrefs. It's a software that's traditionally used for SEO. And by the way, you can put in your Amazon listings into that to figure out if your listing is ranking really well comparatively to others. But the other thing you can do is you can actually put in a website like a Shopify site, and you can actually see their most visited pages, which technically will show you maybe they have a strong blog that you may want to learn from, or it could be the product pages, and you'll get traffic volume, you'll get PPC data. Pretty much, again, all this information, it kind of feels like cheating, but it's at your fingertips for the taking, and now's the opportunity to make it happen. Now, I'm a firm believer this is all about diversification and diversifying your product mix, but also diversifying your channel mix as well. And as somebody who started really early on Amazon, and sure, the marketplace has matured in a really big way, I've always embraced being multi-channel, and I think that's benefited us in a big way for my e-commerce operation, specifically around the pandemic and COVID. Because if I had everything at FBA, I look at Amazon as a channel, not a business, and I'm looking at how we can diversify and try to make more revenue across other channels. So whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Wayfair, Overstock, Groupon, we're everywhere. Essentially, we look at selling in e-commerce like playing Monopoly. You want to be on every piece of the board to win, because where there's eyeballs, there's market share, and there's certainly wallet share for the taking. So just to address this, I love collaboration. I see a question that came in. Can we get the extension for the Shopify search? I think that there is an extension out there called Commerce Inspector that you can take a look at. Again, no affiliation, just something that you can check out. You can see what are best-selling SKUs and revenue profiles of Shopify businesses, again, and try to leverage that data for your benefit. The other idea is that you can actually look at sales channel diversification, right? And this is what we're talking about. Essentially, even though green might be Amazon FBA, if you look at all the other contributing sales channels, right, it could be 30% of your revenue, 40%. Certainly for Thrast, you'll probably get a higher multiple, or if you're selling your business, you'll get a higher multiple. But at the same time, like, you never want to put your life savings into one business or into one channel. So I'm a firm believer in diversifying and splitting up where you're showing your products and diversifying your product mix. So of course, I got to give a shout out to Skubana, because I wouldn't be where I am today without it, right? It's an operational software just like Shopify, but for the back end to run and automate your business. Think Crucial is a 7-figure business with 1 employee, and we take all the low-value repetitive tasks, whether it's order orchestration or profitability or reporting or even integrating with Deliverr. It's in our app store. Pretty awesome stuff. So one of the bonuses here that I want to give away to people is we've been really thinking hard about, okay, the Amazon space is saturated, in my opinion, right? And you got to find riches in the niches. And the way that we do that is we developed our own spreadsheet criteria, which allows us to make better decisions so we don't make mistakes. And so even though I have 800 products, right, Babe Ruth, his home run rate was like 11%, anywhere from 8 to 11%. And I think it's very close for product, for creating winners of products as well. So you want to, I think, to take a phrase from Casey, is like, you want the data to back you up, but you want to contextualize that data in ways that maybe softwares can't do, right? And so, like, is there somebody already making this product right now? What are their listings look like? The reviews, what are the reviews looking like on those listings? The images on those listings? Or even perhaps, instead of investing money into a cell phone screen that may be replicable, try to figure out a way that you can actually create something that's innovative and unique, where there's a tooling cost that protects your business and creates a moat, which becomes an opportunity. All right, so where do you find the data to drive new product and market ideas? I think that's actually, is that back to Casey or Art?
I think so. Yeah, it's back to
Okay, cool.
Casey. Yeah.
Chad, if you want to read my slides, you can. Yeah, I love the sound of your
We'll
voice,
read
so.
Casey slides. We'll take turns.
All right. So yeah, so there's kind of two, as you're looking for kind of new product ideas to source on Amazon, there's kind of two ways that I've always thought about this. There's the cash flow model, which essentially is like, you're just gonna have this random array of products, this menagerie of products that don't necessarily kind of align. So you may have a card trash can with a dog cage with an umbrella with, you know, a kitchen blender, for example. And the reason you end up with all these kind of different products is essentially you're just looking for products that have very high opportunity, that have low risk, and they're probably low cost products or some combination of the three. And the focus with this kind of cash flow model is there are a lot of these like niches in product opportunities where you can make significant money. The investment is going to be very high. And so, you know, if I go into this product market, I can absolutely kill it. But it may, the kind of adjacent product market opportunities may not fit. So like, for example, let's just say that yoga blocks were a good product opportunity, but the yoga mat market is absolutely saturated. So a seller may go in this like much smaller market, the yoga blocks, and invest in that. And then during their product research, they may find another idea in a completely separate market, doesn't fit at all, and they may go after that as well. And you know, I've seen this work quite well actually. So I have a couple of friends selling 8 figures a year on Amazon, literally just following this kind of random cash flow model, if you will, because there are so many of these opportunities. And then the more traditional route, and this is the route that probably in a lot of cases will allow you to achieve a higher multiple when you sell the product, is this kind of cohesive line of products. So, you know, finding a brand, being able to double down on that particular niche and just kind of going wide within that, or going deep within that niche. So part of the troubles are you're likely going to be investing in kind of, the opportunity cost is going to be higher investing in these products. So you may find one great opportunity, which is, you know, let's just say essential oils, right? So you're like, okay, selling this essential oil pack, like there's significant opportunity there. There's kind of less opportunity. It's going to be more difficult to go into the kind of tangential products associated with that, like an essential oil diffuser or like a little stand for your essential oils. I'm just making stuff up. But the point is that there's going to be one product where the opportunity is significant and you can get good return very quickly. And it's likely that the other products you're going to be investing in are going to be a little more difficult. But again, there's a lot of positives to this brand builder model as well. Being able to really focus in on the customers, to build a relationship with customers, to build a D2C play. There's a lot of opportunities. It's very easy to launch new products as you have this customer list. But again, there's kind of trade-offs between the two. So let's talk about identifying new product opportunities. So some of the questions in the chat were, you know, where am I getting this data? How can I get this data? There's kind of 3 main product research tools in the Amazon space. I'm speaking specifically to Amazon, as there's not very much in the way of product research tools for kind of outside of Amazon, Walmart, Shopify. There are some good Shopify tools, Google. And so I'm speaking predominantly to the Amazon space. And those 3 softwares are ViralLaunch, which is a company that I had created. And then there's Jungle Scout and Helium 10. And so in terms of product research, there's a ton of overlap. But so if you're looking to find this data, then you can go check out those websites. And that is like a much kind of deeper conversation if we were to walk through that. But I just wanted to talk high level here because we don't have a ton of time, and I wanted to help get you thinking about where to go. So software makes a lot of this easy to kind of find a good landing point, and then to Chad's point, doing deeper analysis to make sure you're not just sourcing what everybody else is sourcing. You know, what you don't want is a fidget spinner where the data looks really good at fidget spinner, you know, early in the year, and then everybody starts jumping into it, and it very quickly is no longer a good idea. Maria's asking to repeat those websites: viral-launch.com, junglescout.com, and helium10.com. Those are the 3 sites. If you search one on Google, I'm sure you'll see ads for the other 2. So anyways, using software will allow you to basically find opportunities. I mean, what you can't do is you can't look around your desk and say like, okay, I have a coaster, let me go look at coasters on Amazon. I have a desk or a standing desk. Like everybody else is doing that. There's software that allows you to look for, okay, show me product markets where there's only $25,000 a month in revenue on average for the product, and the average review quantity is under 100. Right? So now you're looking at these product markets, or you're having a software now start to surface for you these opportunities where the review quantity is low, but the revenue opportunity is quite high. Well, sorry, that was more like a niche. But the point is, there's tons of filters in these product research tools that will allow you to find these very specific niches. And as you become more and more familiar with what looks interesting, what doesn't look interesting, you'll be able to go on these kind of rabbit trails, if you will, in a good way, of finding these kind of undiscovered niches, if you will, or much less competitive product markets. One thing that I really look at as kind of a shorthand, is this product market interesting or not, is the sales to review ratio. So the way that I consider this is the number of reviews. So if the customer, an Amazon shopper, doesn't really have much of an indicator of what products are selling well on Amazon. Their indicators are bestseller badge, the Amazon's choice badge, and you know, some of the other sections that are now showing in organic search, like the editorial strip. But the point is that the customer's main indicator of what is most popular, like what's selling well, is the number of reviews a product has. So so basically, if, for example, let's say you're going to buy a new iPhone charger, and the majority of those iPhone chargers have 50,000 reviews, and then there's one that has 2,000 reviews. Kind of objective, like standing to the side as a like, you know, outside viewer, you may say 2,000 reviews on Amazon, that's kind of a lot. But when you compare it against the rest of the market, I mean, 2,000 is a lot less than 50,000, which quote unquote everybody else in that market has. And so you're probably going to be less inclined to make that purchase because not as many other people did, and it's not as popular for some reason, right? And so if you take this kind of logic and look at these product markets as you're looking to go get into new ideas, review quantity is like a major barrier to entry. So there's that. And then there's sales. So it's kind of like risk or reward, but it's like opportunity versus investment is the way that I look at it. So the opportunity is going to be the sales volume in a market, and there's you know those product research tools which will help you estimate the sales volume of products on Amazon. So you can go to any market and say, yeah, you know, the average sales for this product, or this product is selling, you know, approximately $200,000 a month. So it's the opportunity versus the investment. If the average review quantity is 10,000, it's going to take you a very long time to get there. And if you're only going to make $5,000 a month, it absolutely doesn't make sense. And you can kind of walk that down. So yes, kind of a lot to unpack there. Product research is kind of a deep title and so important. If you haven't gotten started down the Amazon space, like your product selection is going to absolutely make or break your success on Amazon. Another thing that you should be paying attention to when considering product markets is trends. So there's some really cool opportunities to basically use this software to identify kind of trending product markets. Now, I wouldn't suggest going after the top 50, 80% of product market trends, because everybody else probably is as well. A la fidget spinners. I know so many people that lost so much money in the fidget spinner market because they got into it because they saw the opportunity, but they weren't paying attention to how many other people were getting in. But with these tools, there's some great opportunity to identify growth trends. So this is like a search volume chart, and you can see an aggregate search volume is kind of up and to the right. And it's grown 31% at the time of this screenshot. So, this is an opportunity. I've seen some people jump on this very early and have tons of success, like essential oil market. They launched a diffuser on Amazon, one of the first diffusers, and with essentially kind of no work, they were doing 6 figures a month with this, essential oil diffuser. So looking for product market trends can be good. You just have to be conscious of the fact that there's probably a bunch of competitors coming in as well. So one area that I really like to focus on, because I've seen the troubles of having top products in the market on Amazon. I mean, you're constantly having bad actors flag you for just fake stuff. They'll write these fake reviews to get you shut down. They'll send these phony claims saying that you're violating X or Y to get you taken down. There's so many issues. And so one kind of strategy is to fly under the radar on Amazon, to look for these product markets where you're only going to be making about $5,000 to $30,000 a month, but the review quantities are low. There's not a ton of people in there. The differentiation is not high within the product space, meaning there's like this clear gap for you to come in, to launch this lower volume product and to have success pretty easily, and to not worry about all these big guys that are going to come in and try to bully you in the market, especially if you're coming on to Amazon for the first time, whether from another channel. Just being able to get into these opportunities where there's not a ton of competition is going to be very nice. And again, I've seen plenty of people have a lot of success. They just have a much kind of wider portfolio here. Then I wanted to talk about extending product line. So if you're already selling on Amazon, if you're already selling on Amazon, then you may be like, one of the fastest ways to grow your revenue, launch new products. If you're selling $1 million a month with 6 products, you want to get to $2 million a month, well, probably launch 6 more products and do the same thing, and now you double your business. And so part of the question is, well, what should I add to my product line? And you probably have some kind of ideas intuitively. You probably are rather familiar with the product space, or that product market. But again, I think following the data is just so important. And so Amazon recently, in the last 2 years, has rolled out brand analytics. I think it's been about a year and a half. And they have a couple cool things in here. So there's market basket analysis. If you're brand registered or you're selling as a 1P, this is going to be in your advanced. This is in the ARA program. If you're a third-party seller on Amazon, then this is going to be in brand analytics if you have brand registry. So anyways, there's this market basket analysis. Let me see. There's this market basket analysis and item comparison and alternative purchase behavior. So what these 2 tabs show you is, in the market basket analysis, Amazon will show you what else was in a customer's cart when they checked out. So if you're selling a coffee grinder, you will be able to see the percentage of people that checked out with your coffee grinder that also purchased coffee beans, or they purchased a French press at the same time. The point is, Amazon will show you what customers are also purchasing with your product. And this is, you can't kind of refute the data that Amazon is showing you in terms of what customers are also buying. And so great opportunity for you to, go and invest in that product line. And you'll have a lot more confidence when you do, because that, customers are also buying this. It's not just a hunch. I always feel better when I have data to back me up. And then number 2 is item comparison and alternative purchase behavior. So this is somewhat helpful sometimes, but item comparison is essentially what other things are customers looking at when shopping for your product. So they may not have purchased it. They may not have even purchased your product at this time, but they were at least considering them. And again, sometimes you will find these ancillary products or these tangential product markets, which represent new kind of product line extension opportunities. And then there's alternative purchase behavior, which is essentially looking at competitors. But this is by far one of the best ways to extend your product line using data directly from Amazon. Another kind of, this is probably rather intuitive and straightforward, but there's the frequently bought together section on Amazon. And so this can be a great way of kind of sourcing these new product ideas. So in the screenshot, the listing was a cutting board, and at the same time, people are buying these knife sharpeners as well as some other cutting boards, which is interesting. apparently you can never have too many cutting boards. But the point is that there's a ton of data out there for you to identify new product opportunities. You should also be paying attention to customer reviews. Again, a tedious process, maybe have a VA do it. I like to become kind of intimately familiar with my products or my competitors. And so, yeah, I'll go read through reviews to understand, like, hey, I just bought this cutting board to use with my new chef knife set or something, right? And again, this will start to give you some indicators or some ideas of opportunity. You should still use the data to then go and validate those ideas, but this will at least send you down a path. And in a minute, I will talk about validating those product ideas. All right, well, I'll talk about them right now. So sorry, I thought we were going back to chat. Okay, so validating product ideas, product markets, this is where kind of starting with the end in mind comes into play. And again, this is like a rather deep topic, and we didn't have a ton of time today. I don't want to bore too many people here, but basically validating these product ideas, like coming up with the idea is great, but then making sure it's actually going to work. One is important, or let's say you're bringing that product line to the space, and so you don't have the opportunity to select this product. You're stuck with you have what you have, essentially. Knowing what to expect is going to be so important. You probably some people will often run pilot with a handful of products before they bring the whole catalog. And so picking the right products for the pilot is going to have a significant impact on how it goes overall, what you think of the Amazon space. So here are some common mistakes that I see or have seen sellers make. And in my experience at Viral Launch over 5 years, I saw a lot of product mistakes, unfortunately. And so there's so many mines to dodge in the minefield that is Amazon. But number one is because it's popular. A couple of years ago, I had these guys come to me and they're like, yeah, we have a ton of money, we want to get into Amazon, and we're thinking of selling routers because more people are getting on the internet now than ever, so we want to sell these routers. And while that statement is probably correct, what they weren't looking at is, well, what does it look like to sell on Amazon in the router space? And if you go look at the router space on Amazon, what are people buying? People are buying brand names. They weren't going to have a brand name. It was going to be a private label product. The review quantities are high, and it's just a very expensive space to enter. And I would have estimated the probability of success in becoming, having like a cash flow positive router business on Amazon in a year would be rather minimal without a significant team behind them. So it's just very important. Another mistake, looking at a snapshot versus a complete historical picture. So there's tools to look at this data. Oftentimes people will go and they'll look at let's just say the coaster market, like for your cups. So people will go, they'll look at coasters or actually, what's a better one? They'll go look at some kind of like seasonal product, and they don't know it's seasonal. So they go and they look at like clipboards in September. And let's just say that a bunch of teachers buy clipboards, so sales are higher in September. The point is, they'll go in and they'll say, wow, clipboards are selling $100,000 a month on average on page 1, or top 10 are. The opportunity is so great, and the review quantities, low, like price point's good, all these different things. And then, they find a supplier, get the product into Amazon or Deliverr, and they're getting ready to go. And now it's January, and no one buys clipboards, in the winter because they already bought them in September. And so they come in, and the product opportunity isn't what they expected. Or price point is at a significant decline as there's some consolidation in the market. Problem is that if you want to understand where a market is going, you have to look at where it's been and the trajectory that it's on. Very important. Going the premium route, this definitely works sometimes. You just have to be very intentional about it. But I've just seen so many people that all sell, fish oil. I can't tell you how many people I've met that have the best fish oil on Amazon, that have the highest quality fish oil on Amazon. And I use fish oil as, this example of like, they're, probably pretty similar. And so they want to sell their fish oil for so much more. They have 0 reviews on Amazon, and they want to be able to sell at a good volume this premium fish oil. They want to be able to sell this premium fish oil, and it's just like, I mean, everybody has the premium fish oil, and it's very difficult to convey this on Amazon. I mean, you are very constrained in how you can kind of present your product to the potential customer. And so if you're selling a fish oil for $50 and have 0 reviews, and these other quote unquote premium fish oils are selling for $20 a bottle, you know, same pill count or whatever, it's just so difficult to help them to understand why your product is premium. There may be markets where people are looking for premium products, and that's where you can use you can follow the data. But I just see so many people make this mistake of premium. Amazon actually rewards you for a higher sales volume. So the more units you're moving, the better you're going to be ranking. And so if you're selling a premium product, naturally, you're probably going to have lower sales volume. So it's going to be more difficult for you to compete in the organic results. You may have some more, marketing margin to play with. But anyways, I just see a lot of people make this mistake. It can work, just got to be intentional. Not budgeting for launch expense. People will come and they say, I have a $20,000 budget to run a pilot here, or whatever. They'll get a product going. Product costs, all these things are, $18,000. And they're like, all right, I have a $2,000 marketing budget. Let's get started. And, it's not enough because they didn't start with the end in mind. They didn't put the budget in place, and they weren't prepared to spend money in order to make money on Amazon, which Amazon is becoming more and more a pay-to-play space every day. Cool. I'll just skip through the rest. Validating product ideas. You just really need to know your keywords. So this is a screenshot, not from Viral Launch, but from Helium 10. And so when you're looking at entering a space, how do customers find products on Amazon and purchase? Largely through search. So if I'm looking to buy fish oil, I don't search Amazon bestsellers and then just click through all the browse tree to find the fish oil category. And then say, oh, this is the number one, this is the best seller, the best BSR fish oil, and then I purchase. No, you're like fish oil or premium fish oil or, whatever, best fish oil, whatever you search. And that's how customers are going to find your products. So it's so important that you know the keywords in a product market, and you're able to say, well, where are the top selling fish oils ranking well, right? Where are they advertising? Get that data. Where are the top 5 competitors ranking and selling? Well, what are the keywords where only 1 or 2 of them are ranking? This is now an opportunity for me. So you should be doing exhaustive keyword research to identify that market. The keyword market is where you're going to be getting your sales. You should be looking for these hidden gems where not many of your competitors are paying attention to, or maybe they don't have these keywords in the title, but they're still good volume. You really have to know your keywords to understand the market. If you don't know your keywords, then I would say you don't know your product well enough, and you should not be sourcing that product until you do. Again, I can't tell you how many people have come to me with this weird mix up between matcha tea and coffee. It's I don't know. So I'm just making this up, but it's some combination of the two. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what do people call it? What's the keyword? What keyword should you be ranking for? I'm well, I don't know. It's kind of like matcha, but it's not exactly. It's kind of like coffee, but it's not exactly. So I don't know. It's kind of like a new thing. And well, how are customers going to find your product? Because they're searching on Amazon. They're searching matcha, they probably want matcha, and the majority want matcha. And so they're probably not going to buy your product because they're looking for matcha. If someone searches coffee, probably not going to buy your thing because they want coffee. So it's just going to be very difficult. So you have to know your keyword market in order to really validate the product space. You really need to know your customers. You should be spending a good amount of time early on going and reading through customer reviews, both positive and negative. One, this will allow you to find some of these niche keywords where customers are, you really have to pay attention to the vernacular that they're using, the very specific words that they're using to describe the product, or their need, why they got the product. But this is also great data to help you understand, how you should be building a product or the product that you're sourcing, what it needs to have, what you need to focus on. Oh, the strap breaks on, let's just say this art kit or something, right? That has a little handle. You need to make sure that your handle is sturdy enough that it's not going to break, right? Or people have been like, yeah, I bought this thing, I just wish that it had X. Okay, well, maybe you should analyze whether or not adding X makes sense to you. And then, yeah, I think this is my last slide. So I've talked about kind of market trends, understanding where things have been to understand where they're going. It's so important to look at these kind of market trends to understand where the market has been and what should I expect once I enter that market. So here's just a couple of examples. Here's a screenshot. This top graph here is sales. And so as you can see, it's a rather seasonal product. There's this cycle here where in the summer, it looks like there's a significant jump, drops down over to the holiday, Christmas, cold season in the US, and then picks back up again, right? So like you need to understand, because if you're looking at sales potential in July, you may not realize that, well, sales are going to go down to pretty much nothing in the winter, but you were expecting, this peak season to sustain through the year. Another thing that's important is just looking at price trend. If again, I saw so many people waste millions of dollars on fidget spinners. If they would have looked at the average price trend, they would have seen that the price of a fidget spinner started in January of whatever that year was, 2017, 2018, at $20 per unit. That's how much they were selling on Amazon. They're doing significant volume. But the chart was like very steep down here, and the average price ended up like under $1 on Amazon for these fidget spinners because people were just trying to liquidate their inventory. And had you have looked at any point along this, you would have seen that this chart or the average price point was declining significantly. You probably wouldn't have entered the space. Cool.
All right. Great. Nope. There we go. Okay, I have myself muted. Awesome. Thanks so much for running us through that, Casey. So thanks you everyone for joining us today. So our next step is our Shopify Fireside Chat, and that starts in about 15 minutes. And that will feature our director of sales, ad experts, and successful Shopify sellers. 5 minutes before we go live, you'll get a link to join in your inbox. And if you need help, please go ahead and email Rachel at Deliverr. Just the emails right here on the slide. And thank you everyone for joining.